So what we're going to do, we're going to look at the weekly chart, and we're going to take a quick run through the weekly chart. Now, the system I'm using is MetaTrader 4. I downloaded it on my computer. The broker is Awanda. And once you have this on your computer, you can set up an algorithm that will give you an idea of when to trade and when not to trade. And I don't mind showing my algorithm, but I give you the tools so that you can, create your own algorithm by explaining how this works. And I actually show you how to draw up charts, support and resistance, and how to look after you have determined that there's a buy or sell from your algorithm, how to go in and draw up your chart so that you can perfect your entries. And so we'll get into a little bit of that, but we're going to start here on the weekly, and we're starting with Euro USD. And as you can see, guys, this is pretty straightforward. If you check this every Sunday evening around 7, 8 p.m., it's going to be one Sunday when you're going to catch an arrow pointing down or up. And all you have to do is set your stop loss before the previous low on the previous low candle and just wait. And if it takes off the first week, typically it's going to run for a couple of weeks. And as you can see, this is a great example. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 weeks this ran. And there's opportunities to scale in on lower time frames, and we'll get into all of that. But then as soon as it came down here, you could have bought and rolled it back up. And this is what we look for, guys. We look for trends. We're reverse trend traders, and we're swing traders. So we're swingers. We trade the weekly, the daily. We like the longer time frames. Now we do go with the 4 hour. That's about as low as I go because I work full time. So this trading system was specifically designed for people who work full time. So if you have a full time job, but you still want to trade, then this is a great system. You can trade the weekly and you can trade the daily, and it is much more passive than setting alarms and waiting for it to get in your area and then getting up at 2, 3 in the morning. And I can't trade at 3 in the morning because I work a 9 to 5. I work 10 to 7. So I can look at the charts in the morning around 9, and I do a little bit of studying around 9, but I'm not really trading at that time. And we'll get into my system and when and how I trade as well. So, but before we do that, we're going to run through these pairs. Doesn't take a long time. We're starting with Euro USD. We don't have anything right now, and I'm looking for something real obvious. Arrow when it's been trending in one direction for quite some time. So, pardon me, we have, as you can see, a downtrend here. Looks like we are about to turn this around. So this is USD JPY. So I am looking for a potential buy on this pair. If we look at the daily, it is already starting to go up. So this is one that we could certainly, you could even get in this and set your stop loss below here. Now I'm not going to get into this right now. I would then take this pair and go draw it up. And actually, we will draw it up just so you can see. So this is a great example. So this is the weekly. We have it going down. Looks like we had a little uptrend back down. It looks like it's about to start going back up. So let's go over here, USD JPY. Now we typically go with Awanda since that's our broker, and they tend to have the best prices, like as far as accuracy is concerned. But as you can see, I've already drawn this chart up. So we're going to go to Forex.com, and we're going to get rid of the little drawings I have on here. And this is a great example. We're going to the weekly, and bam. So as you can see, I have a buy on the weekly. Now, if you notice, and I like to do this sometimes, so you can see right now, it looks like it's about to come back down some. I would definitely expect this to pull back, but if you were to get in this, your stop loss would be right down here. So Even if you got in now, your stop loss would be 275 pips, which is a pretty big stop loss. But again, guys, remember this is the weekly time frame, and it doesn't really matter the stop loss so much as it matters where's your take profit. And you will be looking. This would be your first take profit, and that's 521 pips. So if we're looking at risk to reward here, and we'll pull this tool out, a long position, and I wouldn't get in here right now for the record, but I'm just making a point. Um, Here, stop loss being about here. That's 1.69. I don't really like that. I would like to at least have two or more. So if you were to go here, you would be at two times, meaning you make two times your money, and three would be here, right? So you got a couple of different locations where you see major support and resistance. You got a line here, which would only put you at basically 1.11, 1 to 1 wouldn't be worth it. I like 1 to 2 or better. And I think that I would be expected to take profit around here, which would be basically 1 to 2. And you could do 10 cents, right? You don't have to do $1. But if you did $1 and you're risking 275 pips, that means you're risking $275 to make $613 because we're at 2.23 now because my stop loss was off a little bit. So this is about what we will be looking at. And that's for a pair like this. And actually, I wouldn't get in here anyway. I would wait for it to pull back maybe to around here, this zone. Maybe if it was to pull back about here, I would possibly be looking for potential buys around this area. One thing about trading the weekly, guys, very rarely will I trade the weekly and do a market execution. I'm going to typically have um, a buy limit or a sell limit because on the weekly chart, we got to expect some type of pullback. Okay. And that's just should be expected, right? So I would never just jump in like that. I don't trade like that. And we would use the zones to figure out where to get in or get out at. So let's go back to our chart and let's finish running through our pair. And again, we could do this very quickly. It doesn't take a lot of time. This is a great example. We don't have a sell signal yet, but as you can see, and this pair is GBP USD. This has been trending up for weeks. And we know what goes up must come down. This is not going to go up forever, right? At some point, it's going to come back down. And this has been going up a long time. So I would actually expect this to be turning around pretty soon. This is another algorithm I have. Again, this just shows the candlesticks a little better so that we can see. This is a pair that I'm actually waiting on. So I actually have GBP USD. Let me see. GBP USD. Am I in this? Oh, I actually have a sell limit here. So I'm expecting this to drop. So this is a pair that you could potentially get in. I'm looking to sell at 1.35534. So guys, at some point this is going to turn around, but we are waiting for an arrow to signal our sell, and we have not gotten that yet. So that's why I'm not selling. I'm setting a sell limit because I do believe it's not going to go past the previous high. I just don't believe it. But again, we got to watch it and see. If we go to the daily time frame, we actually have a sell on the daily. So this represents a sell. So this one is definitely one that we're looking to get in on a sell. I would just like to see a pullback, a little more of a pullback. As you can see, this is another angle. And I want to go back here. Actually, guys, I think I am about to take a small position. I don't want to miss this. Not FOMO, but it's about 20 pips from my entry. I like this entry a little better. So I think I'm gonna put an entry here. I think I'm gonna move my entry, guys. I'm gonna move it down a little bit because I did because I buy off based off the daily, but I check the weekly. We're looking we have a sell signal on the daily, so stop loss is gonna be above the previous high, which is this candle. I don't expect it to go above this candle. Now, you do have this long wick here, but I would even use this candle here, which you can still keep it at. Now it's at 40, 45 pips, 44. You can even make it 44 pip stop loss here. All right, guys, I just made a quick modification. I like this entry place just a little bit better, but we're already starting to move down some. And if you go to the lower time frames, still got some time. So yeah, I like this area. And if it pulls back up, I might get in again. But that's going to be my first entry there. So we've just made some adjustments on that. All right. And this is what we do, guys. We do this every Sunday. And again, we meet as a group. So if you're on here live, you will be able to get these signals. And then during the week, I give you signals based on the daily. And I send out my signals right before the close of the daily. So you will get the trade signal approximately around 440 to 450, somewhere in between there. And I don't have a trade every day. Sometimes I might go a whole week with no trade. And then I might have two next week. But the difference is if you actually get in my trades, because it's the daily, they typically will go a couple of days. So it's not we usually get more than one candlestick. Just like if you were entering on any other time frame, unless it just shoots down or we get a real big candlestick, then obviously there's typically going to be a pullback, so we may get out and then look for a second entry. All right, but let's keep pushing. Go back to the weekly. Go back to our weekly. And again, this is one we're going to keep an eye on. AUD USD. So this one we actually have a buy on. USD Swiss. We had a buy actually. So it's this week, last week, the week before that, and it still has not gone up. But this one is another one that I'm waiting on, and I actually have a buy limit on this at 0.81966. So I'm expecting this to drop a little more and then go up because we have that buy signal. We've been having it for over 2 weeks, and we have a strong resistance zone on the daily here. And then on the 4 hour, you can see that it looks like we may be starting to pull back a little bit. So I'm looking for an entry there. And this is the 1 hour. So I'm just looking at my algorithm and seeing what it shows me. But again, after you see that, you need to go and draw them up in TradingView so that you can have a little more accuracy with your entries. Okay, so we're going to keep pushing. We're almost done here. Okay. Right. Keep going. Now, this is another one, GBP CAD, that I called last week. I am still in this trade. We have a sell on the weekly. We had a big arrow last week. It turned into this little square, which represents a possible reversal. When we go to the daily, we can see that we're already starting to trend down some. It's just not really, it's not a lot of volume in the market. So it hasn't dropped like I wanted to, but we've been holding this since I got in this. Let me see, when did we get in this trade? Got in this on the 2nd. Okay, so today's the 8th. So we've been in this trade for 6 days, for a whole week, basically. We got in this last week, and we're still holding it. And again, this is a sale on the weekly. So this is one you could get in potentially now. Right, you can get in this and then just put your stop loss above the previous week's high. And we're looking to hold this. Hopefully, we'll get some momentum in the market and we'll get a nice push down. If not, then we'll get out. But I'm already up. I'm already up. So, you know, I'm pretty much at break even. But this is one that I'm looking for and potentially opportunities to scale in. So let's keep going. USD CAD. Now this is a great one. We got a strong buy here on USD CAD. So this is one I'm definitely going to be looking to buy soon. However, the momentum is still pushing down. So typically when we get our alerts, the way my algorithm works, it's usually the next candle that starts to go up. So if you see a buy signal on this week, the next week will typically it'll start to go up. So I would be primarily waiting for next Sunday to look at this to get in. But we will go down to our daily, and if you look at the daily, we'll look like we may possibly be turning around on the daily. And we'll go to our other algorithm and throw it in because we use more than one algorithm. And I think that gives us a different viewpoint, different vantage point, if you will. Bam, you can see here, okay, this is based on the daily. But then if we go to the weekly, we got the buy. But right now, we still have a lot of momentum down. So I feel like it may come down a little more. And this is, again, USD CAD. And we can actually go look at this in the charts. Let's see. I'm going to do this here, USD CAD. We're going to look at this in trading view. USD CAD. Bam. Oh, this is a great example. I've already drawn this up. And let me get rid of this. And if you can see, this is what I drew up last week. This is your support. This is your support and resistance. This is the spin in this zone. But look at this. This is a nice reversal. And then look at this. So I really feel strongly about this turning around. And you could even do a buy limit here. I mean, if it comes down to 1.36793, I would definitely buy. If we were to get in now, it would definitely need to be below the previous day's candle, which will put you down here, 33 pips. You got 60 pips if you go at the all the way down here. But I don't think we would need a stop loss that long. I think this would do. But we're going to wait and see if it breaks this yellow zone and comes down here or if it breaks above it. But this is definitely a great trade setup. I'm really liking this pair for a strong buy. And again, that's on the weekly. So this is the daily time frame we're looking at. If we go down to the weekly, and we're going to get rid of this line, this line. Now we can see a little more clearer. So this is what I'm looking at. This right here, we thought was a reversal, right? Hammer, and then bam, it faked a lot of people out and came right down here and took a lot of people got in this. They said, oh, okay, we got this, and then bam, it came out and took them out. But now I don't believe it'll pass this low. So you can put your stop loss down here and get in this, and you only have you'll be dealing with and again, this is on a weekly, you'll be dealing with a 56 pip stop loss. Minimum I would be going for here, minimum, which is 278 pips. But again, this is on the weekly. And what you would want to do on a weekly is you would want to see if it's going to break this zone or this trend. It's in a trend and strong trend on a weekly going down. We want to see if it's gonna, if once it starts to come up, I would take profit once it hits this. If it hits this, I would take profit and then see if it breaks through it, then we might go up to here, right? But you would have first take profit, second take profit, and then third. And so this is what we're looking for. So this is the one that I'm definitely looking for, USD CAD, keeping a strong eye on. But I have a feeling that it'll be next week or the middle of this week before it starts to move. And let me see something here. Again, ideally, I would like for it to come down here and touch the 1.36793, and I'll actually put an alarm on my phone, on my trading view to buy. So if it comes down here and touches this, this is something I definitely will be like looking to get in and then ride up. And when we look at the monthly chart, we can see that this had a huge candle drop, huge, came back down. And so this is due for a turnaround, right? Sooner or later, this is going to turn back around. So we're going to keep an eye on it, but this is a pair that we're looking at on the weekly. So we're going to go back to our algorithm, share my screen with you guys, and stay on this weekly. And that's pretty much it that I'm looking at for the on the weekly. I mean, I'll run through these other ones, but you know, one or two on a weekly, all you need is one or two good ones and just watch. One good one is all you really need. But you know, you would like to have ideally, you know, two would be nice to have, two potential setups, and then you monitor them. And if you catch one the right way, I promise you guys, you can run it up for a whole week. Here's another one. We got a buy signal, but this is kind of choppy, this pair, GBP NZD. It's a little choppy, but I actually have a sell limit on this. So, oh, this is the daily. So I'm expecting it to go up on a daily and then drop. So this is one I have a sell limit on, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it. And let me see. I think I was looking at the, actually looking at the daily on the last couple of ones. So I'm gonna go back through and make sure I have it on weekly like I do now. And we'll just see if we get any more potential buys or sales on the weekly. Nothing there. Nothing there. Nope. And these are exotics. So Hong Kong dollar, USD, HKD. I'm actually in this. If you go to the daily time frame, this is a strong potential to drop down because it's been going up for days. And now it's starting to curve, and I got a signal here which represents a possible turnaround. So this is one that I'm keeping a strong eye on. I know a lot of people don't trade exotics. I typically don't trade exotics. Hong Kong dollar would be considered an exotic, but my algorithm seems to work really well with this pair. So I missed a very big trade because I don't trade exotics. This, as you can see, guys, I caught this when I saw this, I was right here and I didn't get in it because I don't trade exotics, and it just, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna risk a few dollars on this, right? I'm willing to risk $100 because that would have yielded me. I mean, the risk to reward on that is insane, and I'm actually gonna show y'all. The issue with the Hong Kong dollar, though, it doesn't, when it converts over, it's not like you would think. It's not, because it almost is like you're getting paid in their money, and so even if you have a $1, let me see, if you have a $1 lot size, it's not gonna equate to like what you would think. So it's USD, HKD. Hold on though. Okay, this is a prime example. Daily. Let's get rid of this. And this is a prime example of what I'm talking about. I caught this all the way down here, guys. I didn't get in it because I don't trade exotics, right? Which I mean, if it's a setup, it's a setup. But let me show y'all something. This risk reward, and it's okay. Now I don't feel the way because but I mean, I was literally here. I would have got in around here. Literally no drawdown. I mean, we're talking no drawdown. I think my was like 28 pips, and then it ended up going. So that's a 33 risk to reward, guys. Come on, 33, insane, right? You risk 100, gonna make 3,300. I mean, that's insane. That's insane, guys. But you have to keep in mind, it does not. The money does not equate like you think it does, because I'm in this trade right now, and I will show you transparent here. Let me show you my account. I'm in this trade now, and I'm actually down $2.41 and $1.95. But I did $1. So I'm more than than 2 pips behind. And just so you can see, let's see. I'm gonna try to see how many pips I am. Definitely more than two. Right now, I got in here. I'm probably down. According to this, it would be like 6 pips. So if it's 6 pips, then why am I down $2? That doesn't make sense. So the money is not it's not dollar for dollar. I can tell you that, guys. So don't get too caught up in this pair. But I like to diversify a bit, and my algorithm seems to work really well with this pair. So I'm kind of testing it out again. After missing this move, I just had to try it. But this is an insane amount of you know. I mean, come on, guys. This you can't turn this type of stuff down, right? So, but you do got to stick to what you know, right? And then GBP, JPY, nothing there on the weekly. And so now we've ran through the weekly chart. This is how we do it every week here. And I like to show, how we run through them, how we draw up our charts, what we're looking for so that you can get some insight. What is Divine Forex? Divine Forex is a mathematical divination system used to help you become a profitable trader and give you edge in the market by understanding your personal daily cycles. I want to be clear, guys. Learning this system of math that we teach alone will not make you profitable. I'm attest to that. If it was, I would be a multi-billionaire, right? So, but what I have noticed is that it did help with the psychology. So I noticed that I was starting to see patterns that on certain days my numbers would say like, "Hey, today is not a good day for speculation," and then I'd end up losing a trade. Or it was just I just noticed patterns over time, but you still have to understand how the market works. You need to understand market structure. You need to have a profitable system, and you need to stick to it. But it does help along with the numbers, the math. It helps. So what is numerology? Numerology is math, right? Numerology is the measure of the vibrational frequencies of numbers and how they affect humans on the physical plane. Each numbers 1 through 9 has a frequency or energy or meaning, if you will. What you must understand is that everything is connected and we all go through cycles. Every 9 years, you go through a cycle 1 through 9, then it repeats itself every 9 years. 9 is a complete cycle. That is why a baby is in the womb for 9 months. There's 9 planets and so on. Numerology does not predict the future, right? It's a misconception. We don't predict the future, although it may seem as if we are at times because of the accuracy. We're not actually, quote unquote, predicting the future. That's a misconception. It just tells you what the energy is like at any given time. So, for example, if you were trying to get pregnant, you would have to have sex at the right quote unquote time when you are ovulating, right? And so, if you went to the doctor and they told you, then based on probability, which is math, you have a higher percentage of becoming pregnant if you're having intercourse during the time you're ovulating. This should make perfect sense to any adult who understands the process of having children. Okay? Doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get pregnant. It just means you have a higher percentage or a higher probability. Again, we're dealing with math. If you went to a doctor and you were pregnant and you were in your first trimester and he said, hey, you're going to have a baby on this day in 8 months from now, and you had the baby on that day in 8 months, you're not going to look at the doctor and say, oh my God, you're a psychic. You predicted the future. You have enough sense to know that the doctor understands how long it takes for the baby to develop in the womb and for the process to complete itself. And this is the same thing we're dealing with, guys. We're dealing with probabilities. We're dealing with math. Well, numerology works in the same fashion, right? And for example, if this is an 8 year for you, we know that that is a great year for business or to start a business. And 8 also represents money. And we know that you'll probably see more money this year. And guys, I've been doing this over 12 years. I've read over 200 people. So this science, right, was basically proven through observational science, right? I was able to do it again and again and again using myself as a test, as well as my family and friends and other people who didn't even know me but reached out because they knew what I do. And I noticed a pattern. That is the scientific method. You have to test this. It is not a belief system. You don't believe in numerology. You practice it, you try it. Either it works or it doesn't. There's no in between. And if you try it and you don't see a pattern and it doesn't work, fine. It doesn't work. Would not upset me one bit because as long as I've been doing this with over 200 people, I've only had one that said the numbers didn't really make sense. I've had people who said certain things didn't make sense, but I like to say that my accuracy rating is at about 99%. And I'll even say 98%, which is still in the scientific community high enough to make it a thing. Okay, so I did want to put that out there. If it's a 5 year, you can expect change and broken engagements. If you knew it was going to rain outside, would you bring an umbrella? Of course you would. The signs just let you know when there is a high chance of rain. This is not the only way to find out about yourself. Some people have found out who they are through the church, through the mosque, astrology, meditation, whatever. However, but this is one way that works. There is no one correct way to determine who you are and what your purpose is. So now I want to go through my numbers 1 through 9, and I call this divine math or the divine numbers. And I personally believe that numbers is not only a form of communication, but it is the way that the Creator speaks to us. And so the way I like to label the numbers is 1 represents man. Now I do have knowledge as well. 2 represents woman, also have wisdom. And 3 represents child, also represents understanding. Number 4 is build. Number 5 is freedom. Number 6 is family. Number 7 is God. Number 8 is power. And number 9 is compassion. And so number 1 is knowledge, and that is itself realizing that it is. Before knowledge of self, you truly do not exist. You and your thoughts are one and the same. This is the beginning, the masculine principle. However, without the feminine principle, the masculine principle could not exist. We're getting into duality, guys, right? You got to have up to have down. If there was no such thing as up, what would down be, right? You have to have good to have bad. If there was no such thing as good, then what would bad be, right? The 1 is the pioneer striking out alone. It is raw energy, positive, original, and creative. It must take command and have the courage to maintain its direction without fear or opposition. One is the real I am of humanity. And keep in mind, guys, we are all one. We're all one. Keywords: original, independent, aggressive, individualistic, creative, dominant, the first in a series, the start of any operation or activity, the leader, the pioneer, the boss who likes authority. Number two represents wisdom, wise dome, also woman, right? This is you becoming aware of the details and the distinctions. The feminine principle, the duo, the pair. It is man and woman, the yin and the yang. It represents the agent, the go between, the diplomat, and peacemaker. Because unity can only be accomplished through a meeting of the minds, a compromise on each side. Music appeals to its sympathetic and emotional nature. Union is its goal, not separateness. Therefore, it is obedient to and understanding of others. And keywords for number two is adaptable, tactful, understanding, gentle, cautious, a follower rather than a leader. And this represents also the feminine principle. Number three represents child or also understanding. Okay? This is understanding of oneself through the birth of a child, the Holy Trinity, man, woman, and child, the original Trinity. Three has the qualities of personality and self expression. This understanding has the need to communicate and be involved in the pure joy of living. The proverbial child having fun, enjoying life. The ion, which sprang into existence from zero, ought to assert its individuality under one and felt the attraction of others under two, now awakens to its need for social interaction under three. If any number could be called happy go lucky, it would be the effervescent three. Keywords: expansive, social, dramatic, communicative, diversified, and creative. A lot of rappers are number threes. I've looked at a lot of rappers and I look at their numbers. Got quite a bit of three rappers. Number four represents build or the builder. It's time to build something for my family after the fun of the three. It's time to get down to work. Four is a symbol of law, order, and systems. It's firmness, stability, and conservatism. I'm actually a number four, and I love systems. And even with trading, you need a system. So four is a number of a trader, right? Because four is like a system for things to be very systematic. It is a builder who must submit to earthly things where form and substance are the predominant elements. Four is nature and relates to earth. Four therefore develops a practical nature and through self-discipline binds itself to a conventional routine exercise of its energy. Keywords: form, work, order, practicality, construction, stability, endurance, and discipline. And I will say this: practicality is super important to me. I'm very, very practical in the things that we teach here. And just for instance, in numerology, there's a thing called angel numbers, triple one, triple two, triple three, triple four. Every time I tell somebody I do numerology, the first thing they say is, "Oh, I see the number 111 all the time, and 999 and 888." And what that represents is angels, right? And it represents a form of communication. So they're communicating to you through these symbols. Now, this is interesting. However, from a practical standpoint, not really sure how you can use that information. If I wake up and I look at my clock and it says 444, and then let's say I'm at work and I just happen to look at my clock on my computer and it says 444, right? Okay, I can presume that there's an angel watching over me. Can I prove that? No. Is there anything I can do with that information on a practical level that can help me in my day to day? Not that I'm aware of. Maybe there's somebody who knows how to use angel numbers. I don't know, right? I'm not familiar with it. So now it just becomes interesting talk, right? There's nothing I can do with that. If there's an angel watching me right now because I see the number 444, unless that angel is going to communicate to me in a manner that I can understand, that is going to be able to provide something that I can use in real time, then it's kind of like, okay, cool, now what? I don't teach that. I'm going to teach you, oh, today is a 7 day, so you probably should watch what you eat and maybe fast today, right? Because 7 deals with time alone, internalization, deep thought, health. So you want to be mindful today because it's a 7. Or today is an 8 day, so you should expect some type of more money today. You should be looking for business opportunities. Um, oh, you have an interview coming up. Which day is your interview? Okay, let's look at your numbers. Oh, wow. Your interview says the people you deal with today may not be honest with you. So be mindful when you go into the interview that they may not be telling you the truth. This is how we use it on a very practical level. So I wanted to put that out there because I'm a number 4, so practicality is very important to me. Number 5 represents freedom. It is time for change and adventure after I have worked. Curiosity and constant activity produced a resourceful, adaptable, and versatile entity always ready to take a chance. 5 is the midpoint in the cycles 1 through 9. 5 is involved in much superficial interaction with groups and crowds. Fives attract the opposite sex because of an irresistible magnetism, and this attraction sets the stage for domestic responsibilities which naturally follow under 6. So the key words for 5 are versatility, resourcefulness, adaptability, change, activity, travel, adventure, promotion, and speculation. And I can tell you, every time I meet a number 5 person, this has never failed me. If I add your birthday up and it comes to 5, I can guarantee you either moved around a lot as a child, you love to travel, you constantly feel like you have to keep starting over, you hate to be tied down, and you just love your freedom. And that's consistent every single time. And and especially if they're younger years, or in their younger years, they tend to be a little more promiscuous, a little more sexually free. You will find that also with number 5s. This is just these are patterns that I've recognized over the years of practicing this science. And again, I've been practicing this for over 12 years. So 6 represents family. Now it's time to focus and build our family structure. After the freedom of the 5, it's now time to get your house in order, so to speak. The 6 desires close companion, marriage, and home and family where beauty and harmony prevail. A need for group harmony and service to the community follows naturally. The 6 settles down, blends into the community, and can be gifted in the arts. Keywords are family and social responsibility, service, love, compassion, counseling, healing, and creativity. 7 represents God. Seeking answers. Now that you have your family in order, it is time to establish a philosophy in which to govern yourself and your family. Because solitude is necessary for self analysis, you will be placed in these environments often of your own accord. God rested on the 7th day, and all things rest under the 7 because time is needed in which to meditate. Health is also highly sensitized under this vibration, and almost bar none, whenever I meet anybody who's in a 7 month, 7 year, they tend to have health issues, including myself. I'm currently in a 7 year now, and this year I've had some health challenges. Things I was able to use natural herbs to cure myself of, and I'll even tell you guys I had shingles. Right, I had chicken pox when I was young, and it ended up developing into shingles. I had it this year. I got it. I started a natural cleanse, one that I recommend to members. And when I started taking it, I didn't know what was wrong with me, but I knew I was having an issue. So I was taking it, and then after the 3rd day of me being on the cleanse, I was itching. My back was itching. I was starting to break out. And so by the 3rd day, the itching was starting to go down a little bit. But I went to the doctor because I didn't know what was wrong. So I went to the doctor, and they told me I had shingles, and they gave me a prescription. So I said, all right, I'm gonna stop what I'm doing, and I'm gonna take the doctor's recommended prescription because, he's telling me, oh, this, we have an antiviral for this. You can, we'll clear it up, and it's only 7 days. Now the cleanse I was doing was 20 days, so I started this 7 day cleanse. Guys, my situation got way worse. It just started to get worse, and I was like, this stuff isn't working. The first 3 days it got worse. By the 4th day, it was bad. Fifth day, it's actually started to come down a little bit. The sixth day, seventh day, I was still had every like in pain, the itching, the rash. It did not help. It helped. It started to go down a little bit. I noticed, but it wasn't much of a help. And then I talked to somebody else, and they was like, "Yeah, they were dealing with it for months." And this, so I went back to my cleanse. Mind you, the cleanse was 20 days. I'd already did 3. I went back. I had 17 days left. Now with the cleanse, you can't eat anything but raw fruits and vegetables. While I was taking the medication that the doctors gave me, I had to put some on my stomach because those horse pills, you got to eat something, right? So went back, did the 17 days. By the end of that, it was 100% cleared up. So it just let me know like I was already on the right track. And the cleanse I did is called the blood cleanse. If anybody's interested, you can reach out and I'll give you the exact one I did. But it works. I was able to do it. I used this same cleanse to cure myself of diabetes about 4 years ago, and or about maybe about 3 years ago. Cured myself of diabetes in 20 days using the same cleanse. Went to the doctor, had diabetes. 20 days later, after the cleanse, came back on the 21st day, no longer there. He said that they must have made a mistake. True story. And so, guys, I'm telling you, like, this is why this community is not just about you, it's also about me because these are the things I've learned through my experiences. I'm able to share them with other members, and members share their experiences with me, and I learn from them because it was actually a friend of mine who told me about the herbs. He wasn't a part of this community, but he told me about where to get these blood cleanses from that I've been using for the past 6, 7 years. And I'm just in certain circles where this information is passed around. Okay. So 8 represents power. Now, after finding God, we must attain the power. If we had attained the power before we found God, we would have been misguided with the power, right? Absolute power, what? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's the same. Recognition in business and financial rewards are under this vibration. This is also a karmic number, so ye shall reap what ye sow. 8 has the ability to drive to overcome all obstacles with perseverance. Through fair and ethical standards, good judgment, and organization abilities, it will achieve power. And I'm also a number 8, so I'm a 4 and an 8. Power, responsibility, financial rewards, good judgment, and recognition are the keywords. And most 8 people are about their money. They have a business. They're a business owner. I'm a business owner. They're going to figure a way to get to some money because 8 represents that. Okay. It's also karmic. So you will reap what you sow. And I will say I have reaped what I have sowed, right? Some good, some not so good in my life, but it's all been a lesson, right? For me to learn. And the final is 9. 9 is the last number and it represents compassion. Now that you have made all the money, it's time to give it away. Yes, compassion, the number of completion, the last and highest vibrational frequency. Keep in mind, guys, 9 is also ruled by Mars, which is the god of war, and that's where you get the word martial arts from. So 9, even though 9 can be extremely compassionate, they can be extremely violent. And I'm a martial artist, been studying for years, and I do have a past in which my temper would often get the best of me. So, uh, there are two sides to every coin, right? Temper is something I still have to struggle and work on, right? But I'm a work in progress, right? To love thy neighbor, notice I did not say enemy. Love for all in universal service. You have traveled through the cycle of 9, which now bestows on you understanding and tolerance of others' views. 9 is ready to give back to the universe in some way. Keywords: love, compassion, patience, universality, tolerance, selfless service, and endings. And again, I have my own nonprofit. I'm very selfless. I give away a lot of money. I help a lot of my friends who may be in situations that need help. If I can do it, I'm there. I'm that guy. Often I'm taken advantage of by people who really don't even care about me and who really don't like me, but just use me because they know that, hey, I can borrow money from him. I can get this from him. And so I tell number 9, you have to be careful because, sometimes you can be looking out for the wrong people. They can take your kindness for weakness. They can take advantage of you, and they don't understand that you have that flip side, that non-energy, that Mars energy. So, you can take advantage of me and I'll let you until I get to a point where now I'm ready to blow up and I'm ready to take it somewhere where maybe you're not ready to take it. And that's because I feel that after I have given to you, I've sacrificed for you, and now you pretty much slap me in my face after it. It's a hard pill sometimes to swallow, and this is why you have to be very mindful and careful on who you give your time, energy, and resources to, because everybody does not deserve it. There are some people that are extremely ungrateful, and they will be in your life, in your circle, and they will just suck and use you, suck the life out of you. Pause. And they will use you as long as they can. And then when they can't get nothing else from you, they'll be gone. And, sometimes these people will end up putting themselves in a situation where they've been so disrespectful to you that they bought a side out of you that can't be turned off as easily. And it can cause a lot of hurt, pain, and regret for everybody involved. So, as I also have the nine energy as well, because I was born on the 27th. 2 plus 7 is 9. So there's the nine energy as well. We're not just one number, guys. We all have a makeup. We have a birthday, which consists of a personality number, which is the month and day you were born, your planet ruling number, which is the day you're born, life lesson number, month, year, and day. Then we have a whole section of numbers based on your name, based on your nickname. So most of us are gonna have more than one of these numbers um, as a part of our makeup, right? And all of these numbers create who we are, and they work harmoniously so that we can basically accomplish what we were put here to accomplish. And if you don't know what you've been put here to accomplish, go to Tyrain.com and I'll tell you, right? Right at the top, just email me, put your name, email, and I'll send you a free reading of your life lesson number, tell you your purpose for being here, because God bless the child that knows why he's here. If you don't have purpose and you don't know why you're here, it can lead to some very negative things in your life, because now you're blowing in the wind. Whichever way the wind blows, you go. And it will be a lot easier for people to take you off of your path because you're not really focused on your path because you're not sure what it is. So this is something that is extremely important, and this is why I don't mind giving that out for free, because I feel like everybody has a right to know why they're here. Here are the formula, guys. This is how you figure out your life lesson number: month you were born plus day you were born plus year. Personality number: month you were born plus day you were born. This is the algorithm for your yearly cycle: month you were born plus day you were born plus year of your last birthday. You just take the yearly cycle and add the month, and that gives you your month. You take the monthly cycle and add the day, and that gives you your day. So it's really important that you learn who you are. We're here to learn about ourselves, and by learning about ourselves, it will also enable us to learn about others and how we interact with other people around us. So thanks for tuning in. Anybody interested in becoming a part of the community, please reach out. I've priced this so that almost anybody can afford it. And I just want people to be able to be a part of something that can help them on their journey and help me as well, because I struggle as well. And the members give me support, right? We support each other, right? Accountability, very important. All right, guys. Peace and love. We'll see you next week.